Transfers of supplies must be reported.
Another meaningless
Transfers of supplies must be reported.
For justice.
The show begins!
Rain outlines your fate.
Strike a pose!
Guide us. Barely a scratch.
Let's begin.
Yoo-hoo!
Everyone has their limits.
Sorry! I couldn't protect.
Drat. You caught me. Time for afternoon tea. for a wait a sec. Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on, we've got...
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing, and you two may exit the Fortress of Mer-
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's Huh?
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks. But
Let's go ask the Duke.
surprise!
Your Grace?
Ah, good to see you two.
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. In fact, it seems it came from the surface. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I have developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater. Besides, the seal that Monsieur Neuvillette set in place won't fail so easily.
So the fortress is okay?
If you recall our last incident, if there really were a problem, there would be crowds of inmates in a panic right now.
Huh, you've got a point. Okay, seems we need to get back up to the surface and ask about what happened. By the way, do you know what day it is today?
I believe to...
Wait, seriously?
Ah, yes. Have you...
Yep. It's you two. Are you the... That's right! Today is our last day in prison. But now that Paimon says that, it doesn't feel like we were confined here. It's actually been pretty... Oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of this place now. Then be sure to come back and visit. I'll miss you.
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go.
You're not going to see...
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure.
Well, you actually agreed.
Ah, so you do have a polite side.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companionship. Shall I come? Yeah, don't worry. We'll come back to see you. Paimon really likes the cafeteria here. The chefs sure do know how to make good grub.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best to stay out of trouble. Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of Mirapede is finished. That's the end of another chapter in our journey. And since Neuvillette was the one who asked us to come here, we should probably go report to him now. Next up, the Palais Mermonia. You're going to see Monsieur Neuvillette? Please pass on our kind regards.
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe it would be the polite thing to do.
You're right. I've heard the Palais has been terribly busy these days. Tell him that I hope he hasn't been overwhelmed by the recent string of troubles.
Zip on up!
These new friends.
Leaving the Ministry of External Relations.
Chalet Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apologies. Monsieur Neuvillette did say you'd be welcome at any time.
Excuse me. Would you mind helping?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my...
Everyone's so busy. Neuvillette!
Hello. You've come at the right time. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink...
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his work.
All right. That should wrap...
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede, and it appears that you have managed to complete all the
That's right, and we came here to see you right away.
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary water. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we can only assume that Child is presently immersed in primordial...
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? Does he...
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Right! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from under...
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what the source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
The water levels rose?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and have already returned to normal now. However, if the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson may be much worse than...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check...
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the surrounding coastal areas to avoid... I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Oh no! What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We haven't seen a single soul all the way here. Oh, this is getting
What will I ever do now?
Look! There's someone on the roof over there!
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance.
All right, just hurry. I'm not young anymore. How will I survive on my own? My Desiree!
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! My leg! How could this have happened? It hurts!
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You can hold my hand if it makes you feel better.
That's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so...
Yes. As you can see, the water level suddenly rose. It...
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety, but we've run out of medical supplies.
He's wounded? How badly?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof. Once the water receded and he saw the ground, he became terrified and eventually...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor. He should know where to go.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue...
All right. You'll be in... I'm sorry. Right. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways. But before we knew it, the rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people didn't realize the danger and thought it was just ordinary water, leaking from somewhere. Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. As the water those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were injured in the stampede, and some people fell from significant heights. The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been... The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower levels of Poisson are still hazardous. To ensure everyone's safety, I've asked the people that no one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now.
How awful. And all of this just came out of nowhere.
It was quite frightening indeed.
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And out she goes!
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has... Of course, we should remain ready for anything, and continue doing our best to rescue others. I'll be sure to have everyone at the Spina di Rosula ready to rent Traveler. Paimon?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you. Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson...
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so...
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver... they won't...
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but still, I was the one who initiated it. They were helping evacuate the rest, and I've known them for so long. I could at least hold a funeral for my father, and I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that you'd enjoy a glass of red wine.
I can understand. Besides,
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when I visit Papa. Perhaps...
How could Master ever be upset? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed.
buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, Demoiselle.
Hey, stop.
I'm quite serious. That way, it'll save us both the...
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us...
Personally, I believe we've...
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better.
I had always thought I could make my wishes come true. But Malus and Silver have helped me. I'm so sorry.
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stay...
Thank you. Right now, by the way, you can have a look at this. It's a list...
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny, Francine. So...
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right. Don't think that way, Navia. One person might be... Malus and Silver were not the price for saving anyone.
You're right. What you said just now was pretty amazing.
Oh. Really?
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and we're preparing to relocate them to higher ground. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need...
Thank you very much.
Wait. Do you two know...
We just met recently. Right.
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But that doesn't quite fit this time. Besides, it never even... Thanks to the Knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue and evacuation work so...
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations. I hear that they've also prepared a...
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent the impending Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be troubled by this token of our sincerity. Perhaps...
Without your help, there would have been many...
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. You and... As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves for any specific person. And they weren't the price paid for other salvation. I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to...
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Navia. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that...
So, you're one...
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of, and the children need my attention. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just... Huh?
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need today. It would not hurt to have Traveler. I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the... You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Meripede's sluice gate, and this time it was the water levels in Poisson. These are both signals. Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from... During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. The ruins date back to ancient times, and seem to be worth investigating in many ways. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy and the coming crisis. The situation is becoming more urgent, so any pertinent information will prove extremely precious. My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpectedly, this disaster struck. And at present, we're all...
So that's why
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher ground to assist affected residents. Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you as such. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their
Oh! That's...
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family, it's only natural that I freely share it with you.
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right? Pfft, we can handle that.
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss?
But are you sure you're up to exploring some ruins?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But I can't just go back and plop myself into a chair by the roadside and do nothing. There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. As my father's successor, I must... Besides, I'm also doing this for myself. I need something...
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right, the ruins are to the...
Okay, the three of us will handle it. Come...
Ad Astra ab...
Over here! And away I go! So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about?
They seem to be pretty...
Let's go in and have...
Just speak.
Chivalry will never die. Ready for anything.
Way now.
May I present? What? The floor here isn't safe.
Let's begin.
This place has also been contaminated.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontainian would most likely dissolve them.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be don't get by my wrong. We're not saying it.
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave this to... That complicates things.
In that case, do you want to wait?
The water levels here are unstable, and there's a chance I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up ahead.
All right. Come with us for now, then. Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
There's something wrong with this bridge! Run for it!
Demoiselle.
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark if I hadn't come to get you?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Malus.
Hmm? Oh.
Yes, it would have...
That's quite possible. However, you were the one that suggested we go out for a walk.
Oh, right. It must have slipped my mind when I dozed off. This is a familiar feeling, yet...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, I was just trying to recall...
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with foreign merchants who had a debt dispute with him, and...
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the moment.
Ah, right. Yes. I remember now.
Oh? Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too. It's good to see all of you.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized that I wasn't. They were knocking at my door day and night. Even my
Sometimes force is required to calm someone down and get...
That's right. Oh, by the way, Burnett, what was it that you wanted to give to Miss Navia again?
Oh, yes. One moment, I have it right here. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. They're a very good variety, and I don't know what we would have done without your help. So this is...
Did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much. I'll certainly take them. Malus, we do still have some empty flower pots at home, right?
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants.
Very well.
Wait. Excuse me, madam.
That's right.
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name seemed familiar to me. I've heard this name before. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, demoiselle. We still haven't...
Huh? We do?
Well, now,
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House.
My trial? Wait.
Yes, she's right, demoiselle. It's just about time now, so...
Oh? All right, then.
Look, it's Navia! She's here!
And her two attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly excited about something. I even know some of these people. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. And as for the judge... huh?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry.
All right, but...
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed.
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're...
Enough with the whispering!
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor, the head of the Spina di Rosula, someone held in high regard by every soul in Poisson. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. If anyone in need reached out to you for help, not only you, but your butler, your subordinates, nearly everyone...
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people get through so many difficulties. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. And with you being so important, therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us.
Huh? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my hometown, and I would be willing to be with you all, but what is the purpose of having me stand here like this?
Oh, well, if that's what you...
How wonderful!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's...
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing of her utterly...
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master Callus couldn't stop her.
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. She merely acted as an individual, extending her hand to help others. Please do not mistake her actions as being otherwise.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontainians here. This is the nation of... Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Water accepts all, blends with all. It will surely accept her kindness. Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro, and in the end, everyone shall meld together. Thus, when a unanimous opinion emerges, that opinion represents justice. Now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. Have you forgotten how much you all once...
Do you mean to defy?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we...
As you said, we can also have our own justice. And that...
Demoiselle!
Silver, I remember now. Everything that seemed odd for Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the nation of trials, the majority is absolute justice. We are the will of all. Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an...
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss Navia, she...
Silence!
That's... Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this I shall...
Our thanks.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place.
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall be...
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now!
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and...
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people you saw.
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me. To think that they'd keep doing so even after death.
Please come with me.
Neverlet, are you okay?
Hmm? Oh, I am quite all right. Perhaps there's something we could chat about?
Why do you look so Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels...
I merely thought that we should give Navia...
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then?
Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these...
No way, don't worry. She's doing...
I see. Well, that is good.
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that. He hopes that you haven't been overwhelmed by all that's happened.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately.
He still doesn't know what to talk about. So, Neverlet. This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, amid my astonishment, I ran into the nave, and we had a chat.
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official documents.
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then! Oh no, another unstable path. Watch your step. Watch out! There are rocks falling over here!
Shower me with prey! Rain outlines your fate. Rain cutter!
A moment, please.
I swear by my sword!
It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Yeah. Let the world collide!
Let's begin.
Let me read you a verse. Rain out.
Have a seat with me. A moment, please.
Wind, hear me. Rain cutter.
Don't run away now.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place? There should not be any other hidden spaces in the
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like...
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot...
The surrounding walls also...
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record the history of its future here in its past.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes. Indeed, the slate's contents correspond to it. Take the second slate, for example.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same. She's facing this... what is this?
And is that Lady Farina in the third image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people around her? Paimon doesn't...
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it, most likely due to us missing the first slate.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette. Deciphering...
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at this. Says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really hope...
Still, Paimon feel...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? And if not, why would she... Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents, could this...
But who would have created these slates and left...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else to be gained.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is. There's some things you...
You still have energy for that, Navia?
Just head back to the Fleuve Cendre and have a rest then. Thanks for...
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work, Traveler. I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office.
Are you really gonna talk to her about this directly? Will that be a problem?
She has long been harboring secrets, and will not give them up easily. Which makes it all the more my duty to ensure that she understands.
All right, we'll leave it in your hands.
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is always open to you, as ever. All right.
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a special...
Yay! And there's good food too! Navia! Paimon's already starting to forget what happened today.
Oh, that voice.
Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll meet on the road.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here.
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname?
Yeah.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my...
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait, are you gonna have to put that into your genealogy as well?
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice-as-great Scholar of the Stars. Just take it as a title specific to astrologists.
Thrice as great? That's so... petty.
I know, right? That's just how she is.
Talk about it.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right.
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontainian, are you, Mona? You're from Mondstadt, right?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dornman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while, after which I...
Oh, that's a good thing then.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know you're not a local, but I'd avoid getting... There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the invitation was sent quite early on.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologist. Your word would go a long way to make things more certain and less... scary.
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns the fate of Fontaine, even that of all Tevat. Ascertaining this is akin to reading the fortune of the whole world. I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. If I could do it, you would no longer call me an astrologist, but a visionary. But on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come from a powerful visionary. Its contents involve the fate of the world. Disregarding it would be a mistake.
A visionary? Sounds really powerful and all, but does such a person really exist?
Of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar.
Huh? Are you sure?
All right.
Thanks, Mona. You're...
Oh, well, this...
That's the greatest of astrologists for you!
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need...
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now. If I receive any news, I'll be...
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with... Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help, did... Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling kind of sleepy. But it's time to get up, Traveler. We agreed to go see Neuvillette, so let's pack it up and get going.
I once considered keeping some pets in my office, but soon gave up on the idea. It's just not right to keep small animals where they won't be able to see.
You're here! Finally!
Is something wrong?
Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please go see for yourself.
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. And I will say this once more. You must tell me. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know—
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't— but you found them in some ancient—
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy. The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be—
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this. Oh, the opera's.
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening in or not.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless we may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to... This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance. But who will lend a...
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally...
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what families should do. Sit and enjoy a leisure...
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be...
Oh?
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with in the future.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in their wake. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the prey. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough, animals of the same kind will follow them all the way to the trap.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So are we going hunting together?
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kinda works, but maybe it's still not the best metaphor.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is in...
Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounds very interesting.
few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up, huh? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised. Well... It's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, Paimon sure will do great. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world. Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you... Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice?
Ah, have you
Wait, you are familiar. You're...
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is... You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friends to the prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Teyvat so easily be changed? Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality.
The voice. What? Paimon hears someone talking. All right, coming. Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontainians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I assume you've heard of her, no? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be...
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... well, suffice...
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a...
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though. Perhaps it is something that you cannot... Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now.
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. But even so, I still hope for, and believe in, miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set in stone. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff... I need to get going. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. But also kinda sad, too. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. What's going on? Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy, but that does not mean that others cannot interact with it. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report, a blind adventurer with their white fairy legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contains journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail. Charlotte took so many awesome... She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter. Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Paimon's hungry. Should we go in and get something to eat? Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go, but...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur
Wait, did he really always say something like that!
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and...
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but... Maybe the waters will rise tomorrow.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can...
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what human...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about... She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating.
And there she goes! Alright, let's dig in. It's more delicious than last time! And the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea! It sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here. Oh! We're near the Steambird office! Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Oh, you're the best!
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for...
A friend of ours met you a while back, and when she mentioned it, we thought of coming to see you. Her name's Mona.
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. She's so young and all... So she mentioned me?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary Traveler and Paimon?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done now.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example...
Huh, That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but if you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist, first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pid. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess, but anyway, that's my answer. And on...
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would... No, Paimon should ask if you could choose. We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either with us. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing? Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Mirapede. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him. Yes, inside the Opera House.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what happened after that is Farina...
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that the Marechaussee Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Marechaussee has dispatched many people to search for her. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters. Good. Monsieur Nervillet...
Don't worry. This is more than enough to go...
Is that so? Well, all right then.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling. Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to... In that case, there's not a moment to lose. This place looks deserted. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just...
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to...
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Does they even dare to tout their Archon? I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish Chaussee Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they... that's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to
What? Oh.
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's...
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free. Indeed, I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually...
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god. I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always...
Looking for excuses?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No
duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crime. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Art. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous, mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine!
Woohoo! Oh, now we're... Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this serious...
All right, then. Who will be...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then... Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were
Navia, the president of...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct a giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.